consider myself a teacher. And you'll never see me coming.
Law banning TickTawk for a deadline for TickTawk.
Whoa! Sounds to me like you really need another TickTawk. To TickTawk. Let's talk about ticks. Except this time, we're not talking about ticks. Let's talk about some gear. Welcome back, friends. Brothers Campin, Chris here. And the river is calling. Yeah, looks like a lot of stuff. And there is a lot of stuff here. However, what we've done over the last decade or so is hone all this down to what works really well for us on a 4-day, 3-night river excursion. Now, you really got to ask yourself a couple questions before you attempt to do any kind of camping, and that is, where am I going? What am I going to eat? How am I going to prepare that? What am I going to sleep in? And we've already done a couple of videos about a great sleep system, sleeping pad at least, and a tent. Feel free to check that out. And now let's break this down a little bit further. Water. Very important to bring your water. Now, with these Campin B-free water filters, you can filter the river water here and drink it and use it for cooking and making your coffees. But we do bring extra containers of water. I bring some, Brian brings some. Alright, cooking. Alright, look at this here now. You got cast iron pan. That can get kind of heavy. Protect yourself from the fire. Sold separately, of course. Now, if you're not into the weight of the cast iron, and I encourage everybody to get yourself some of these little bags here. Carry your stuff in, pack your stuff in. It does make it extra simple and nice to keep it organized, keep it packed up. But in here we have the lightweight titanium option. I believe that's a Tokes brand. And then GSI Outdoors makes the foldable plastic spatula, lightweight, your pan scraper. That's good for cleaning your pan out. Alright. Now, you also have here is the jet boil. And I have really come to appreciate this thing more and more over the years, because not only it has its own pan, there's all kinds of different accessories you can get with it. A pan protector with them fins on there for cooking at jet boil warp speeds. And that's also a little plate. Handy dandy, right? It's the simple things. And the cool thing about that jet boil is everything packs down inside of it. You unfold it. I got the coffee press in there and everything else. You don't want to carry around the fuel cans and have to mess with any of that. Well, there's options, right? And you've seen this a lot if you've been following us along for any length of time. But this here is the Bush Buddy lightweight can, right? Titanium. Love this thing. It's big. I used to have the Tokes titanium cup, and I love that one as well. Really enjoyed using it. But I had the small version. Alright, I upgraded to this big guy. We can make multiple cups, filter your coffee, the MSR coffee filter. If you can't have a full-on flare, you can use your Bush Buddy. And that, you see how that packs in there? That's handy dandy. However, most of the places we go and we camp and we set up at, we can have a fire. So I usually leave this at home. And I'll have the Bush Buddy. And this year, this is what I decided now. Alright, I'm going to bring the Bush Buddy still. For the times that we do have fires, I'm going to have the Bush Buddy. And I'm going to make cups of coffee. I'm going to make my oatmeal with it. Anything else I need larger quantities of water. But when I wake up first thing in the morning, before I even think about wanting to make a fire, unless it's really, really, really cold like it was last year, check that out. I'm thinking I'm bringing the jet boil as well, because before I even think about making a fire, excuse me, I want to have a cup of coffee, and then think about that, and then get breakfast going and everything else. That's just what I want to do. So I'm going to bring both. I'm going to have the Bush Buddy with me for making anything I need larger quantities of water for. But I am bringing the jet boil this year to have that first cup of coffee in the morning, real quick, and then after that we'll think about making multiple quantities over a fire, getting a fire going. Yeah. So you got your marmot tent, you got your climate sleep pad. Get yourself a sleeping bag of your choice. Maybe we talk about that one other time. Always bring a tarp, just in case. Gotta have something huddle up under, cover your boat up, whatever. In this pack, used to have a backpack, but I've honed everything down now to where it all fits in here. First aid kit. Good old neck knife. Fire processing gloves. Firewood processing gloves. Folding saw. Small little axe. Right? It never hurts to bring a towel. Always have a little towel.
You want to survive out here, you gotta know where your towel is.
Coffee cup. Why has it got to be so big? Well, let me show you. Look at. Now you're filtering your coffee into your cup without having your coffee filter touch your coffee. For the most part. I mean, how full are you going to get your cup? And then you can dangle. Yeah, that's why it's so big. I like this little Tupperware container and the scoop for my coffee. Throw the whole 1 pound bag right in there, seals up nice. I don't have to worry about spills, nothing like that. Keeps it fresh. Love it. So, let's whittle this down a little further. Alright, now, and for those times we do have the fire, we have the nice spatula there for cooking with. Gotta have this UV glove. It's not really UV glove brand. Pampered Chef. But it's a leather grilling glove and it works great for cooking over the fire, keeping your hands from getting burned. And these cooking grates are amazing. Brian's got one, I've got one. Usually one of us will bring the cooking grate and the other one of us will bring the cast iron pan. So the last couple years it's worked out. Brian brings the cast iron pan, I bring the cooking grate, and that is how we do the cooking over the fire. You got that lightweight titanium Sea to Summit spork. The Sea to Summit collapsible bowl works great as a bowl. Flatten it down. Works great as a plate, but I also bring with me fancy cutting board that I also will double up as a plate. And again, these little bags, I'm Wanderer. Guess where that came from?
Let's say China.
Those little bags though, they help. Just keep your stuff organized, packed up, stuff stays together, it's not all over the place. And speaking of all over the place, what in the world do we use? What in the world do we use to transport all this? We got dry bags. I have a green one, seal line. Green one's for gear, and I have an orange duffel one. Brian and I both have the exact same set for the food. The orange is for the food. Green for gear, orange for food. Orange for food. Had a little set the bag too close to the fire pit one year. Something popped out of the fire, hit the bag, melted a little hole through it, so I made myself a little duct tape patch. And thus far, it has held out the rains and any water issues. I mean, it works. Man, they pack up, roll up nice, keep everything dry. I mean, if it rains, even if your bags fall out of your boat, they'll float.
Oh yes. They float.
Yep, there it is. So we've got the water. Gotta have a way to have water. Gotta have your coffee. A way to drink your coffee. A way to heat your water. How are you gonna heat your water? Well, you got your jet boil, or you can build a fire. How are you gonna build a fire? You got stuff to build a fire in there, including, not shown, we use the Blackbeard fire starter because that stuff is amazing. You got a way to build a fire, you got a way to have water, you got to have a way to heat water, you got to have a way to cook, you got to have a way to eat, you got to have a place to sleep. A cooler for your refrigerated items. We always bring a cooler. Everybody has a cooler with them for their refrigerated items. And not just one more thing, two things, because you have to have a chair. I've tried the small Helinox hiking chair. It's a hassle to set up and take down as many times as we stop and use the chair. So the full-sized Kelty camping chair works better for what we're doing. So yeah, this just works out better on the river trip. Of course, there's a boat and a paddle included in the mix. We'll talk about that next time.